In Nellyville's old folks' homes searching tip drills. I hope he's saying he's watching TV looking at tip drill as opposed to being in an old folks' home looking for tip drills, because that's a little out there. Yo, what up? It's your man Nelly, and I'm about to break down these lyrics on Between the Lines. Anytime anybody shows you appreciation, you should always take that as a blessing. I think it's dope. I mean, as a fellow artist, I do it. In Hot in Here, I had a reference to Jason Kidd. I said I'm just kidding like Jason. I remember my first time bumping into J Kidd. I think he made some type of remark also, like, he finally made it or something. The guy is like, a 10-time All-Star, one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game, and here he is telling this little kid from St. Louis, yo, I finally made it. I knew he was joking, but it felt great as hell, you know what I mean? Excuse me, miss, Jay-Z. Who else you gonna run with? The truth is us. Only dudes moving units, Pimp, Juice, and us. Probably one of my best shout-outs that I've ever had. Shout out to the homie Hove. At the time, he was basically stating the truth that at this time, the three people that was probably at the top of the album sales at the time was me, him, and M. And it pretty much explains itself. And if you know anything about Jay, he kind of gets straight to it. So for all those who don't know, the reference of Pimp Juice comes from the 2002 album Nellyville. And that's what a lot of people reference me as at that time, and still to this day. A lot of people call me Pimp Juice, and Hove was one of those. The late, great Pimp C used to call me Pimp Juice in Nellyville all the time. At that time, if you were pretty cool with me, you kind of referenced me by Pimp Juice. Problem, Young Thug. Getting money, of course. Black, cooking white like the Porsches. Shout out to Nelly Air Forces. I'm a fan of Thugs. I think Thug is dope. I think Thug brings a definite energy to the game that you can see a lot of youngsters tend to emulate. Obviously, we did not invent Air Force Ones, and we weren't the first one wearing Air Force Ones. But it's kind of like Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line, right? Michael Jordan wasn't the first one to jump from the free throw line in a dunk contest, but he made it look the best. And at that time, the proof was in the numbers when we did it. Air Force Ones went from basically $59.99 to $100 in a year. The same year that we put our song out, the same year that they went 700 times percent of selling this shoe. Even though I made majority of Country Grammar, wrote it here in St. Louis, I recorded it in New York. And I was in New York every day. I was in Harlem almost every day. I used to go up to Penalty Records. Harlem, they didn't put me on Air Force Ones because I was already wearing them, but the white ones, we weren't wearing like that. Now, what happened was I was in New York and I ran out of Reeboks and I couldn't find anything. And my man Cardi and Sugar J and them was like, yo, get you some ones. I was like, yeah, but I don't really dig the white ones like that. They look like medical shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because the only time we would see them would be in the hospital. But I was like, you know what? They clean. And, we started rocking them and things like that. And the whole reason we was buying two pair because they were so cheap. They were just so cheap. It was just like, yo, give me two of them then. Splatter, Tyler the Creator. Dope enough to snort crack and sit the fuck still in Nellyville's old folks' homes searching tip drills. Shout out to Tyler. Very, very talented brother. What he's saying, I think he's saying he's chilling. I think he says he's chilling in a crib that's maybe not the newest. I hope he's saying he's watching TV looking at tip drill as opposed to being in an old folks' home looking for tip drills, because that's a little out there. But then again, it is tea, so, The whole thing of going in with tip drill is that the dopest video countdown that would come on came on at like 1 in the morning, and it was BET Uncut. I mean, I didn't care who you was. You watched BET Uncut. If you was the Cat in the Hood, all the way to me, 50, Snoop Dogg, whoever you was, you watched it. And we was just like, okay, we're going to do one to put on here. We shot it at my man Ray Buchanan's house. He used to play cornerback for the Falcons. And before you know it, all hell broke loose after that. And the outtakes were not made for TV, and I don't think they're ever gonna come out because a lot of these people have families now. Hell's Kitchen, my homie J. Cole. My next album flop, then I'm gonna go pop like Nelly. Basically, he's letting you know, like, if it don't hit over here, I'm gonna go over here and make it happen. And make it happen, which is definitely a Nelly philosophy. I just like having number ones. I don't really care where the number ones sit, on what chart it sits on, who, what, when, where, any of that. My goal was to be number one. Obviously, I am hip hop. I live it, I eat it, I breathe it. But there's no reason that a hip hop artist cannot top all of the charts. And I get what Jay is saying. This is like, yo, if my next album don't work here, I'm gonna get it over here. And that's just a hustler's mentality. Who killed hip hop? Joe Budden. And I ain't believe my ears when niggas tried to tell me that KRS-One had a rap beef with Nelly. I guess this is one that could be interpreted many ways. I would feel the same way as Joe. Like, why is KRS-One having beef with me? Like, and I'm a KRS-One fan. Like, Love's Gonna Get You is one of my best songs. And what I didn't understand when KRS was coming at me, my thing was why he called me commercial. But he had the commercial. I didn't have a Sprite commercial. I didn't understand that. I was just like, yo, isn't he the one with the commercial? I kind of took it as a challenge, but I wanted to also let him know, like, yo, I ain't scared of you. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely respect you. I definitely love you, and I definitely know you are a GOAT. And that was just my thing. It's like, yo, Holmes, I'm from the Lou, and I don't know what to tell you, but we don't go that easy. We just don't go away. You know what I'm saying? Like you walk over, but you limping back. Like, I'm just gonna blatantly say it. The OG hurt my feelings, man. I love him. He's dope, man. The bridge is old. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about right here? It's low, T-Pain. Shorty had them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. That shout out, hey, apple bottoms through the roof already, but he put us back on the ceiling. Shout out to Pain. He's like a brother to me. I enjoy creating with Pain. He is absolutely one of the most underrated talents in music, period. If you ever get a chance to be in the studio with Pain, see him work, see his creativity. If you're a writer, like, I'm a writer, so to see other writers, you like, yo, Star Tender, A Boogie with the hoodie. I'm number one like Nelly, and my crib all white like Belly. Crib all white like Belly. I mean, if you've seen Belly, you know what he's talking about. When you have artists mentioning you now, and maybe your records came out like when they were kids, because it was the same thing for me as when I shouted out Too Short and Born to Mac like Todd Shaw. You know what I mean? Like, Born to Mac came out, way earlier than Country Grammar. And I think it's when you grow up, I think that influences a lot of artists when they start sending shouts out. It's what they remember growing up and what has the type of influence on them. Poor Lil Rich. 50 Cent. Fresh up out the slammer. Ain't no fucking Bama. I'm from New York, Wody, but I know Country Grammar. You know, the Country Grammar is basically all about the breakdown of the pronoun, more so. You know, it's the who, what, when, and the where. You know what I mean? So, who you talking about? What? Me? You know what I mean? It's the where, over there. It's the when. What you talking about right now? You know what I mean? With Country Grammar being 20 years later, it's it's a lot of great, a lot of good, and just a smidget of damn. We have a virtual show that we're about ready to come out with. I call it a 20th anniversary virtual jam session. The great is so far outweighing everything, because you could never imagine yourself not only being able to be in the game 20 years, but to have the type of impact that you were able to have. Because, when you're not from Cali, you don't have the palm trees and the beaches, or you're not from New York where you don't have the city lights and the bright lights, you can kind of feel like you're not relevant sometimes. For us to do that, man, it just meant a lot. To be mentioned in anything right now is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And anytime other artists that you appreciate and that you love, that you have respect for, get a chance to mention you, I think that's something that you wish for, and you should strive for. And hell, I try to give as many blessings back as I can too. Yeah, I get lost out here sometimes. It's crazy. I was just at home for like 3 months, so it's amazing how everything comes back once you get around people and everything. And when I'm out here in LA, I have to kind of take it out because people don't fucking understand me half the time I'm talking at the gas station.